First up on our Bears Now mailbag, I'm Harrison Graham. Trade Bayless. He's got an agenda. Would you rather trade one of our second-round picks for a proven offensive lineman or use that pick to draft a lineman? It's a good question. I think for a second-round pick, you got to be talking about a high-level player like Quentin Nelson, although Indianapolis may want a first. Do you get Zach Martin before he hits free agency? Kind of like Montez Sweat last year. That way you don't have to bid with teams in free agency potentially, worry about a potential franchise tag. Martin's a little older, so a 2 might be a little rich for him. But, yeah, I mean, I think if the right player was available and he was young enough and controllable enough contract-wise, I would consider it. But I also think this might be a year where Poles doesn't spend a high pick because he may want to just draft a lineman or two. So we'll see. It's a very, very good question. And you guys predict it for me. Will the Bears trade one of their second-round picks before the trade deadline? He's traded a second-round pick in each of the past 2 years. Type Y for yes, he will, or type N for no, he won't. Tim Griffin, can the Bears go into the first division game with a winning record and almost injury-free? The injury thing, I would literally just be guessing. I don't know. It's week 6? First division game's week 11. Something tells me an injury is going to pop up between now and then, so I can't really comment on that. But winning record, absolutely. If you beat the Jags this week, you're going to be 4-2 with at Washington, at Arizona, and New England as your next 3 games. Even if you were to go 1-2, you're still 5-4. That's why this game is huge because you're basically guaranteed a winning record heading into the final gauntlet. Now, you'd rather be 6-3 than 5-4. New England at home, absolute must-win. And between at Washington and at Arizona, if you could split that road 2-gamer, that's kind of how I'm viewing this now. You beat Jacksonville this week, split Arizona and Washington on the road, beat New England at home. You're 6-3 with 8 games to go, 6 divisional games, Seattle and San Francisco. Go 4-4, get to 10 wins, probably a playoff team. Refrigerator repair, would any specific trades affect depth in any area, playoff in mind? Yeah, I think defensive tackle is a spot that I would be actively looking for to add a depth piece. I've mentioned Shelby Harris quite a few times. If you're watching live, we're going to talk about an area that the Bears need to address just as a team. We'll mention some other defensive tackles there, so stay tuned. But Shelby Harris is a name. They also have Dalvin Tomlinson in Cleveland that they could be willing to move. But Harris in particular, I think he helps your run defense out, which is an area that's struggling. And he just knows how to play. Doesn't cost that much money. He's under contract through next year, so you could keep him and you'd have a proven vet for another year for about a couple $1,000,000. So, yeah, I think that's a name I would look at. All right, check out our sponsor, Game Time. The ticketing sponsor of this show is Game Time. And listen, you want to go watch your favorite teams play? You want to check out a concert that you've been dying to go to? You can do it, and you can do it and should do it with Game Time. Get off the couch and go enjoy yourself, and be sure to use the Game Time Picks feature within the Game Time app as it'll help you get tickets to see your favorite teams play much easier. It'll filter out the fluff to show you the best deals and the best seats so you don't have to scroll forever through thousands of tickets. They'll kind of highlight certain areas of the stadium and different kind of price ranges. That way you can pick and choose based on what your budget is. Whether you're getting tickets to a sporting event like a Bears, Bulls, or Blackhawks game, a concert, which Usher's coming to town later in October, comedy show, or anything else, Game Time has you covered with views from the seats, super deals, which is the best bang for your buck, and ultimately last-minute tickets for the lowest prices guaranteed. And I do mean last minute. You can get tickets as close to just minutes before kickoff. So download the Game Time app right now. Use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase only. That's code ChatSports, all one word, for $20 off. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Angel Carter says, who is going to have to pick up the most slack while Brisker is out? Well, ideally he only misses 1 game, and that should be the case with the bye week next week. But Elijah Hicks is going to start. I'll be curious if Jonathan Owens gets any run, especially if Hicks struggles. I would have gone to Owens, but they must like Hicks better as a strong safety option, but they're going to go with him. So clearly him. And also Kevin Byard's going to have to be that much more sharp than he already has been with his communication and everything back there, considering he's playing with the backup. Pizzatola, is there any chance Nate Davis is on this team next year? I don't see how that's even slightly possible. I mean, he's not even your top backup guard anymore. They just went to Bill Murray. And by the way, when Ryan Bates gets activated, he will leapfrog Nate Davis. I think there's a better chance that he gets cut before the end of this year than he's on this team next year. Now, I wouldn't predict that because financially it doesn't help you, and it's better to have a guy who can at least play if there is an injury. But they save almost $10 million by cutting him next year. There is almost no scenario where he's back. It just hasn't worked out. It is what it is. But hey, you live, you learn. You're not going to hit every signing. Save $10 million, and you have more money to spend on someone else next year. Bears Now is closing in on our next milestone. We are 71 subscribers away from 104,000 here on the channel. You guys have been amazing and helping us grow. Spread the word, tell a friend, and if you haven't already, subscribe for daily content. Excuse me. Nukes. Think Hendrickson will be available if the Bengals can't buy wins. I was thinking about this now. I think Cincinnati is clearly better than their record at 1-4. But if they keep losing, I mean, you start playing the math game, you're just going to run out of games. I mean, their defense has to play better. And Hendrickson's someone who could fetch them some picks. So that's a guy I would consider using a second-round pick on. Now, I think defensive tackle is a slightly bigger need, but you plug him on the opposite side of Montez Sweat with the way Dexter and Billings are playing on the interior. That's pretty lethal. And then all of a sudden, Walker's a backup, a rotation guy. You've got Austin Booker. You still have Darrell Taylor rotating in. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested. I don't know what the price is. Would I trade one of my second-round picks? I might. He's pretty damn good. DC Viper, with Caleb showing improvement every week, is he still likely to reach 4,000 passing yards, or are we still a full year away from seeing that? He's not likely to. He's not on pace to do that. But he's getting closer to possibly doing that. I think the on pace right now is like 3,700 yards. And considering through 2 weeks, the on pace was like, I think less than 3,000 yards. Like, he's trending up, right? 363 in week 3, only 157 in week 4, but then jumps back up to 304 last week. You have to average 236 a week through 17 games. I think he's at like 211, 212, so he can definitely close that gap. Would I predict it right now? Probably not, but I think north of 3,500 is very likely, and 4,000 is not out of the realm of possibility. Predict the score of Bears, Jags, and London. Big game for both teams. Jags trying to get their second win to get to 2-4. Bears trying to stay above 500 and get to 4-2, which would be easily the best start of the Matt Eberflus era. So let's get it done. Get those score predictions in. Got time for a few more. Alan Melendez. So is Chris Warman's seat still warm? Morgan. Did I say Chris Warman? Chris Morgan. I mean, the O-line's played better, so give him some credit. Running game's been better, so give him some credit. I think the staff has done a good job of making some adjustments. I still don't think anyone would say this offensive line is like a good unit. It's been better than hot garbage, which is what we saw the first 3.5 weeks. But, yeah, it's been better. So I'll give credit where it's due, but I'm not going to act like it's been awesome or anything like that. Xavier Soup, what the hell happened to Noah Sewell? #Bears. He's just not that good. I mean, that's why I had him getting cut out of camp. Now, I get he was a draft pick last year. They kept him. He's just a guy. He's a fifth linebacker who can play some special teams. Amino's a better depth guy. He's nowhere close to Jack Sanborn. Now, maybe next year he has a role. Sanborn's a restricted free agent. Tremaine Edmonds could be a cut candidate, but I don't think he's ready to be a starting linebacker in the NFL. Mike Franz, are there any free agents you personally are keeping an eye on that Chicago could pick up? Doesn't have to be anybody you already mentioned. Like for this season, currently available. I will say this. If the outside possibility of Keenan Allen getting traded happens, would you bring in a Michael Thomas, a Hunter Renfrow, like a free agent receiver that's still out there? Maybe I think Valdez-Scantling might still be available. Someone like that who is a vet, been around, someone who could plug and rotate in. Maybe you would do that if Keenan Allen got traded, but I don't think Keenan's going to get dealt. There's been some small chatter, though, so certainly a possibility. But other than that, Mike, I mean, we just saw Jason Peters sign. Like, I don't think there's great offensive linemen out there by any means. So, yeah, I mean, always scouring who's out there or what the market is, but I don't think any major free agent additions are happening on the fly here. All right. VY or YY prods, thoughts on trading for Mack for a fourth-round pick if we're looking like we're a serious playoff push? Yeah, Khalil Mack, I mean, fourth, fifth-round pick. I don't think I'd trade a day two pick. I mean, maybe a third if you're getting a pick back, like a third, get back a fifth or something like that as well. But I think he's a possibility because I know Harbaugh loves him and he loves defensive linemen, but he is 32. Like, is he in their future plans? He's a free agent after this year, so maybe bring him in, give him like a 1-year extension because he's still playing really well. Keep him around next year, but yeah, I'd be open to that if the draft compensation cost was proper. Definitely would not rule that out. Be sure to follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, same handle, at HGramNFL. That's where you can find me, at HGramNFL. DMs are wide open. If you guys want to talk ball anytime, I am available. Hashtag, or not hashtag, at HGramNFL is where you can find me.